You know, I rearranged my whole room for the interview so they could see I had Alaska models behind me.
Do you think they even noticed?
No, definitely not. No.
You should have like made a scene out of it, like grabbed it and like, oh, I accidentally dropped my Alaska. You done like the gay one or something. They would have loved that.
Yeah. All right, friends, we're back. This is episode, I believe, 9 of the Ops Room. It is August 31st of 2023, and we haven't done one.
1656.
Yeah, and we haven't done one of these in since March because of Austin.
Austin, yeah, March like 10th or 11th or something.
So yeah, I know nobody watches these, but
we'll show these to our children.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. A lot's happened. Back then, I had commercial EOC the next day, and you were you're doing multi?
Wait. I started my multi in January. I had just finished my multi-prog, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it must have either been coming up on multi-prog or just finished, like sometime around multi-prog.
Okay. Yeah. Well, now it's August, almost September, and things are changing. Things have changed. We've done a lot. We've gone through a lot, and so we're here to tell you guys about it.
Question mark.
Question mark. Yeah. So why don't you tell us what's happened since March?
Okay. So we were in Austin. That was an interesting experience. We were just wandering around the city at like 4 a.m.
That's definitely, we could just talk about that for like,
we could.
Yeah.
Counting homeless people.
Yeah.
What was the count, like 10?
I think it was like 13.
13?
Yeah, that was pretty freaking good.
Yeah. In Portland, we would have ran out of fingers within like 5 minutes.
Within like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, we counted the homeless people. We wandered around. I got really bad foot pain because I made the genius decision to wear my cowboy boots.
Yeah.
We ended up in that one cool hotel with it looked like you were outside, but it was kind of inside.
Oh, yeah, with the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then by the time the sun came up, we were both just so tired we didn't even want to do anything.
Yeah, I remember I was like, I wish I was home right now. Whoa, this is button wrong. Anyways.
Did you do the wrong order?
Yeah.
It's not that kind of podcast, hero.
I'll do it. ASMR.
This is our audition for the hub.
So
that's the casting couch.
So and then I remember I was so tired I wanted to go home, and I just wanted to sit and I just wanted to lie down, so we went to the grass.
We did a hike.
Yeah, but before that, the sun came up. We were walking out around, the sun wasn't even up for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just a dead city. And we did a lap around this construction area.
Twice.
Yeah, and we didn't even know it. And then we went on this hike. Well, we were gonna go to Leroy's.
Oh yeah, Leroy's barbecue pit or something.
And they were closed.
It was the one thing you wanted to do. You're like, we talked to the guy on the plane.
Yeah.
And he's like, go to Leroy's barbecue pit. It's the best spot in Austin.
Yeah.
And Hero was like, all right, I don't really care what we do. I just want to go get this barbecue.
Yeah. And then it ended up being that they were closed. So then we went on a little walkie hike. And then just
past the Catholic college.
Yeah.
Into the woods.
And we just laid down in the sun for probably an hour.
Yeah, we both took naps in the dirt.
Yeah.
Literally we set our stuff down, laid down in the dirt, and took a nap.
Yep.
And the one person walked by.
Yeah.
They probably thought we were methed out or something.
No, definitely. We were, that was weird. And then we just walked back, and then we got lunch at the really good place.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, the line was crazy, but good sausage.
I got ribs. That was really good. Expensive, but good.
All barbecue is so expensive.
Yeah.
And there's the event, what was it, South by Southwest?
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure it out. It was all these things happening in different parts of the city, and we were on the website trying to figure out the different things to do, and I found one venue that was open, but they kind of made it seem like you needed this $300 pass to get into stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know what the events were. So it was very weird. But the city was very like buzzing by the time it was like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Everyone was out walking around to all these different, it seemed like there was like different stations across the whole city, or at least the whole downtown area.
Yeah. And we'll also try to see a movie because it was first come, first serve. But
Yeah.
we didn't really think any of them were good, and then we had to walk back downtown.
And we also figured we'd both fall asleep in the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then we get to the airport a little early.
We did see the Capitol building.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we did see the Capitol building. We saw that the parking lots near you, there was like screens up so you couldn't shoot nobody.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Unfortunate. That was our plan.
Yeah, because one in Texas, right?
Nice.
Then we went back to the airport early, and then there was this whole debacle about getting back or not. Because the Portland flight got filled up, I think. And I had to make it back for the EOC, so then I did this silly thing of going to San Jose, where I was guaranteed if I went to San Jose, I was guaranteed to get back to Portland. The Portland flight was delayed, and then you decided to take the Seattle flight, right?
Yeah.
Or there was no Portland flight. There were like 2 Seattle flights.
There was 2 Seattle flights. There was an early one that we tried to get on, but neither of us got on.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the San Jose flight that we both tried to get on, but only you got on.
Yeah.
But there was plenty of seats on the later Seattle flight, I think.
Yeah.
You just wanted to try to get back earlier, like just to be sure you got back. I think.
And it was just like a 3-hour difference. I was like 3 hours of sleep is gonna do a lot for my flight tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I went to San Jose. I had a miserable evening there waiting. The flight was at 2 a.m. I left at like 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
And landed here at 2 a.m. He was here. He beat me here, which was
by
sad.
like an hour or so. Yeah.
And then I was just so miserable and unhappy. And then, next day I got up at 10. I got like 5 hours of solid sleep, and then I was like, that's enough. And I went to flying, and it was probably one of the shittiest flights of my life. I passed my maneuvers that I didn't pass the first time, so the chandelles, lazy eights, and I think 8s on pylons. I passed those, but I didn't pass the power off 180, so I had to I ended up having to do it with the chief later on, because two fails at the 141.
I remember you thought, I still think this is funny, that you thought that if you failed with TJ that you got kicked out of the school.
I think that is like a thing though.
I don't think so.
I think it like they say that, but like nobody actually does that because like it's like
It has to be like, I think there has to be like a solid, like the only time they're going to kick someone out is if like they're being dangerous.
yeah, like if they're like really bad and they're not doing anything, then I think you get kicked out. But I mean, I wasn't really that worried about getting kicked out. Obviously, I thought it was like a situation where it could happen because I already failed twice. But yeah. And then I ended up passing, I think a week later with TJ, and that was good. I was glad I did.
Nice.
And then,
Yeah.
what were you doing at that time?
I got, it must have been after? No, it was right before. Yeah, I was sick before. Yeah, so I must have finished multi-prox. Yeah, I came back and then just got into my commercial training. Just maneuvers.
Yeah.
Just having fun with Kevin.
Yeah, good old Kevin.
Honestly, commercial training was like the easiest like training that I've ever done, just because we already had private pilot experience. Like we already knew the 152.
Yeah.
Like it was just, we knew like like you weren't like stressing, like private pilot obviously you're stressing about radio calls, stressing about weather planning, stressing about like all this new stuff. Whereas commercial training, you already know all that. It's just like focus 100% on the maneuvers.
Yeah.
So like I just got to get in the plane and just kind of test out my own skills, and that was fun. It was honestly like commercial training I think was my favorite as far as like doing the maneuvers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like zero stress. Like just go up. Kevin would just be clapping for me on my landings and say that I should just go directly to Alaska Airlines because my landings were so good. So yeah, that was fun. And then yeah, commercial check ride was like pretty legendary because I had my commercial EOC with Anton, of course. So that was like, of course, I was really like, I had a lot of confidence in my knowledge and my flying skills. So I could have passed anybody, but going with Anton was just fun because he didn't care. So we just went up and just kind of did a chill flight, and of course I passed. And then like it's like 4 days, not even like 3 days later, I get a message from the check ride scheduler that there's a check ride available for the next day. So from like 3 days after my EOC, I scheduled my check ride for the next day. Passed oral, but the weather wasn't good. So then the day after, we'd go fly. And it was like the quickest like training and check ride time ever. It was like super smooth. I will always look back on commercial training as like the smoothest process ever.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good. And then we also, the night before your check ride, you came and saw Star Wars.
That shows how confident I was, like overconfident. Was that literally the night before the check ride, Star Wars Return of the Jedi was back in theaters for their 40th year anniversary, and it was like an 8 o'clock show or something. Or no, it might have been even like 10 o'clock.
I think it was 10 because we got out at midnight.
That's right. Yeah. We got out, and I was like, my check ride is in 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got, 10 o'clock show. I was like, screw it, I already bought the tickets. When am I ever going to be able to see Star Wars again in theater? So, yeah, went out, just did that, and literally got out of the movie 7 hours before my check ride was starting.
Yeah, that's a story to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And it was on Star Wars Day, too, May 4th.
Was it?
Yeah, we saw it. Or, like, when we got out, it was Star Wars Day.
Oh, okay.
So at that 1 a.m. or 12 a.m. mark, it was May 4th.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds right, though. Yeah, my check ride was, I started CFI ground in April, and so I was through that, and I knew check ride was coming up, so then I did check ride. And this week was like the craziest week probably of my training. So I had like Monday I had my stage 1 exam. The next day I think I did my FOI written. And then the next day I had something else, and then the next day I had check ride. So literally like days back to back to back. On top of that, like I have to make presentations for the days that I'm at in class. And then so I did my check ride. I did it with someone I've done it previously with instrument, and it was pretty easy. It was about an hour and a half, and just kind of honestly like private pilot knowledge. For commercial check ride, a big thing is like common carriage, private carriage, but I didn't get asked a single question about that. Well, I did, but it wasn't like very commercial like. It wasn't like a very commercial like question. And so I passed, and then obviously weather was bad back then, so I didn't fly. And then I think like 2 or 3 days later I flew, and I passed the flight. So there we were as commercial single engine pilots, and then we also got our multi-engine commercial pilot license.
That's the story for both of us.
So you can go ahead with your story there.
All right, so yeah, the easiest check ride ended up becoming the most nightmare check ride from hell. So finish, super high confidence level, all the way 100% confidence after my commercial check ride. Smoothest flight, smoothest oral I've ever had. And then, all right, let's get into multi. So, just do my little multi-review flights. Gonna go in, gonna knock this out, no problem. And boom, DPE. That has a certain reputation on the Hillsborough Aero campus, was kind of a jerk and made it a very, very difficult, unpleasant, negative oral experience, to the point that like my mouth was dry, like my vision was spinning, like I swear, like full on, like that scene from Iron Man 3 when he's like getting out of the restaurant and he's like freaking out and like gets in his suit and like starts running diagnostics for like having a heart attack. That's how it feels. And so I already decided like there's no way I'm going to fly today. I'm just going to try to like survive this oral. And sure enough, I made the most basic private pilot mistake, like misreading a winds and temps aloft chart. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I literally have read those from being a student pilot with no problem. I tell him that like the winds are the temperature or something, and I say the most stupidest thing, and then he lets me go on. He says, okay, now do the calculation. So I do my performance calculation using the wrong weather information, and he goes, that's wrong, that's a fail. So that was a great, great experience. And so after that, I'm traumatized. I go and do my retraining with my instructor, who like says, you're totally fine, like you shouldn't be worried about it. And then like a couple days later, I get a message from the check ride scheduler, and she's like, all right, you're scheduled in a week with the same DPE. And I'm like, okay, I can do this, like no problem. when that information sits in, like 20 minutes later, I start like freaking out again. I stress, heartbeat, things start spinning. I'm literally sitting there trying to read a book and like the words start blurring. I couldn't. I'm like, I can't do a check ride with this guy. So rescheduled, decided to take a break and go to Nashville for my birthday with my family and just kind of, forget about everything. And so that was good. Then I came back and got rescheduled with a different DPE who I really like. And then, of course, scheduling is hard, weather is rough. So we have our check ride scheduled for like a week from then or something. And then we have to cancel because of weather. He's really strict on if weather's not good, then he's not even going to come to do the oral. So weather wasn't good, so I told him there's no chance that we're going to fly. There was a cold wind funnel, freaking little tiny, I guess it was a theoretical presence of a tornado in the atmosphere. I'd never even heard of that before, and so I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and cancel. So we cancel that, and then, okay, no problem. About a week later, we go back into the check ride, pass oral, no problem, super easy, like how it should have gone the first time. And then we go out to the plane, and I'm doing my before starting checklist, and I notice that I have an issue with my fuel pumps. So I get maintenance called out. Maintenance takes a look. They say it's fine. Like, okay, cool. Then we start the engines, and then I get a message that I'd never seen before, EGT3 bad probe, meaning my third cylinder on my right engine, the probe is not getting an exhaust gas temperature reading. If I was with my instructor, that's not really a big deal because obviously, like, if the other cylinders are working fine, then that cylinder is most likely working fine. But going on a check ride, that's a big no-no decision. Kind of get into it with maintenance a little bit because they don't want to squawk the airplane, but I stand my ground, they squawk it. My DP comes up to me and he's like, hey, look, like, in all honesty, like, that's a lot going on your check ride. You should probably just, like, I would recommend discontinuing. And so we discontinue. And then we try to go fly again like the next week, but it's like 100 degrees. And so he wants to cancel because of the heat. So we cancel because of the heat. And at this point, now I have like 7 days to get this check ride done, or else the original check ride expires. So I have to redo everything if I don't get it done within a week. So I'm like, okay, it's go time. So we finally get it scheduled. I let the examiner know, like, hey, we're coming up on the deadline here. He's like, okay. So we get rescheduled for like 3 days later and get there. And he's like, okay, we need to delay 3 hours. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get there. I'm just waiting around for 3 hours. Like, I take a nap in my car. I go get pizza. I'm just sitting around, don't know what to do. And I'm like just super stressed out. And finally, we get in the plane, we go fly, literally like no problems. Of course, silly little mistakes that, you're always going to make on a check ride, but nothing major. And get it done with, I think it was about like 6 days left to spare on that 60-day, time limit for the original check ride. So finally, commercial multi-engine pilot with a little bit of a story to tell.
Nice. Mine probably isn't as eventful as Eric's here, but I had my check ride with the same DPE that he had, the first guy who failed him. And so I kind of like understood his reputation. I went in pretty confident, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this guy knock me around. Like, I'm just gonna stand my ground. And so I think like my first impression for him of me was really good. And so the oral was really quick, and like the oral probably had like one tiny little blip, and it was probably like a 25 or 30 minute oral. And so it's like super quick and smooth. And like, I mean, I haven't had him before, but I just kind of assumed he was kind of in a good mood, or like he just, he was liked me. And so we go out to the plane, really no issues. We did landings first, and landings were fine. And then I get out to the West practice area to do my maneuvers, and he's like, why is your carb heat still on? Is there a reason your carb heat's still on? And like, I'm like, oh, this is the attitude everybody's told me about. Here it is. I've just been waiting for it. Here it comes. So I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I just didn't realize, and then he just like starts like getting on me about everything. I wasn't doing a very good job with scanning for traffic, so he got really upset about it, and he would take the controls, and he threatened to basically fail me and the check ride like probably at least 5 times, maybe like 8-9 times. And so it was a very hostile environment, and like I just wanted to get it over with, and at that point I already accepted failure, and I didn't, I was like, okay, whatever, I failed, but I'll do it again and it'll be fine. And so I did a lot of things probably that weren't great, but I think he definitely overreacted, and I think he definitely induced a lot of the stuff that I didn't do right. If I was with someone calmer or someone who just had a more professional manner, definitely probably would have flown a lot better.
Someone who's not just a bully.
Yeah, someone who's not a bully. And then so I did something really stupid, which I'm kind of surprised. So the outcome of this is that I did pass. I accidentally went through, we did the engine shutdown, but he didn't actually shut the engine down. He just feathered. And so the engine's still running, but I'm running through my checklist, and for some reason I decided to freaking touch the starter, and the engine's still spinning, and he starts screaming at me. And obviously, it is somewhat warranted, right? That's going to destroy the starter. It's going to destroy the engine. But I glossed over it. I didn't really start to push it in. So he just started screaming at me. And I was like, man, this guy's going to fail me. It's okay. And I had that day, I have gum all the time, but I had this mint gum. It was green gum, and I was chewing it the whole check ride. And by this time, the gum was literally just it was just mush, no taste at all. It was it wasn't slimy, but it was this really weird consistency. And it was just, my mouth was dry, and I swallowed it. I get out of the airplane not knowing if I passed or not, because legally DPs are supposed to tell you when you fail at the moment you fail. So he didn't tell me, so I was like, oh, I guess there's still a chance. I get out of the airplane, my instructor's there. He's like, you have a little avocado there, hero. And I'm like, oh, that was my gum that I was swallowing and chewing and just all over my face. And he doesn't tell me if I passed or not. I go back to the room, and, he hasn't said anything. And so I'm like, oh. And then I text my instructor, and he's like, yeah, you passed. So I was like, oh, my God, that's crazy. And then, he basically never really congratulated me or said, good job. But he's like, yeah, it was mostly a good flight. So here you go. And gave me my certificate. And so, probably one of the most frightening flights of my life. I think engine failure would be more frightening than that.
Less?
Yeah. Less frightening than that. I don't know. It's just not a fun time. So that was our multi-check rides, both with a story to tell, both with the same person.
And it's supposed to be the easy. Oh, that's the chill one. You got through commercial. You got through instrument. You're chilling, just wrap up multi, and then we're focused on CFI.
Yeah, it's kind of a known thing that it's supposed to be the easiest check ride, but it wasn't that easy at all.
Yeah. For
either of us. So.
Yeah, I was chatting with the guys from my CFI ground class when we went out to get that beer, and they were we were talking about check rides, and I was like, oh yeah, I failed my multi. He's like, you failed multi? And I was like, yeah. He's like, the flight or the oral? I was like, the oral? He's like, how did you fail the oral? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, I feel like if you fail with him at any point,
and he was that guy's from Florida, so he's never heard of that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, if you fail with that guy, no big deal. Everybody does.
Yeah.
So.
I bet his pass rate is maybe 10%.
Yeah, I assume it's probably, I would say it's definitely less than 50.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what we're up to date on. We both got through CFI ground. And I got through CFI, EOC, and also checkride.
Woo.
And so certified flight instructor, kind of scary stuff. I definitely still have imposter syndrome. I don't feel like I should be one. I feel like I just can't take the responsibility of, teaching somebody and being responsible for them to fly solo and for them to pass a practical test. And so, I'll figure it out, but right now I feel a little scared of that. But
speaking of imposter syndrome, I feel like I get that, especially when I leave here. Like, I feel like I'm only a pilot when I'm here. But, like, when I go home or, like, go on vacation, like, it feels like, oh, now I'm just back to, like, the person I was before I came here. Does that make sense?
Wait, say that again.
So obviously, like, before I came to Oregon, right, I was just a guy.
Oh, yeah.
But now, like, I'm a guy.
Yeah.
And so now...
Guy.
So, like, now when I go back home, it feels like I'm just the same person, like, with the same skill set, which was no skill set before I came here.
Yeah.
Like when I'm here, yeah, I'm a commercial pilot.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, I'm just who I was when I was there.
Yeah. Maybe I feel that a little bit. I don't think I feel that as much as you do. Yeah, I'm just scared of teaching people. Just the responsibility. If it's their responsibility for them to know all their stuff, yeah, I'd do it, but it's a little bit scarier.
I feel like there's pros and cons, like, because I feel like what you're kind of getting at might be that it might be easier to have a commercial student than a private student.
Yeah.
But my worry with that is my knowledge level.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I could truly be beneficial to someone who's working on commercial, because I feel like I just barely have commercial knowledge.
Yeah.
But at least with a private student, like, I know way more than them, of course.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can actually help them. A commercial student, can I really help them, or can I just kind of show them where to study?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's I don't know which one would be easier or harder, but that's just one of the ways I look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm through CFI, just waiting to get 2 more flights done to submit for EOC. That's that.
And you have your checkrides scheduled?
Yep, with Katie Leonard, great DPE, did my instrument and commercial.
Shout out
Katie.
Yeah. And we both also turned 21 now.
Oh yeah. We can rent cars.
You went to
underage fee.
Yeah, Nashville. How was that?
Nashville, very fun. What did I do? Okay, so on my birthday on May 29th, we went out and got wings with the homies. And my first alcoholic beverage was a Mountain Dew Long Island. And
we bought each other's first drinks, huh?
Yeah, we did.
That's cool.
And then the day after was when I went home for like 3 days and hung out with some friends there. That's so funny. Like, I never care about my birthday, but like, I feel like that was like the most celebrating of my birthday I ever did. And so celebrated my birthday on the 29th, and then like 2 more times with 2 different friends when I was home. And then me and my parents and my sister, brother-in-law, went out to Nashville to go party. Highly recommend it. That was honestly my favorite non-rev trip ever. Well, maybe that tied between Kodiak. But obviously 2 way different experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nashville, so much fun. Like, it's right up my alley. Like, Vegas, like, I'm not really big on like clubs and stuff like that, like dancing and that type of scene is not really my thing. I'm more into like music and chill and hanging out and having some drinks. Nashville, obviously, I would not describe as chill, but definitely not like the party and club scene that you'd find at like Vegas or something like that. Like, get there, it's really cool because during the day, of course, you still have the downtown, it's called Lower Broadway, I think. And there's about, I don't know, maybe like 30 or 40 bars that every single one of them has a live band playing in. Mostly country, of course, but a little bit of bluegrass, little blues, even some rock and roll, even some like one band was playing some Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I thought was cool. But yeah, so during the day, it's all just like some music playing, not really super busy, but you just go get some lunch. And that's when we went to the museums, the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Johnny Cash Museum, But then at night was when it like came alive. Like they actually closed down the whole street. Everyone's just walking around, going from bar to bar. There's no cover fee, which is insane. That's super cool because you can just go in and listen to all the different bands that are playing in every different bar. And so you kind of go through and just kind of bar hop, go from one place to the other. If you find a band that you like, maybe chill there for a few drinks. Just enjoy all the lights and all the music playing everywhere, and the river's right there. And then what's cool is I would say about 10 of those bars, I guess they're called honky tonks, down there have rooftop sections. So the rooftop bar would turn into like kind of a club type. Like there'd be like DJ music and like a live DJ like spinning and having some different like club type music and like rap and stuff playing. And so you kind of got the best of both worlds. Of like, okay, I'm going to go down and chill with the live country, and then I'm going to go up and do some hyphy Bay Area dancing. But yeah, so kind of just super fun, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, highly recommend it. Would definitely go back. It's just expensive. $14 for a freaking shot. It's insane. But yeah, and your 21st?
Yeah, my 21st was kind of less eventful. I was a week away from checkrides, so I was kind of stressed out. But my parents came up. Very nice of them to come up. And yeah, just basically had a really nice, relaxing-ish day with my people. Went on a flight with Sarah in the morning. And then, yeah, we grabbed some boba, received some very nice gifts from both Sarah and Eric, and, yeah, had lunch with Eric, Sarah, and my parents. We went to a Puerto Rican place, and then, I guess I napped.
We studied for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we studied for like 2 seconds, and then I napped, and then had dinner, and then we went to a very nice jazz bar. Right, that's what they're called.
Jazz bar, jazz club, cocktail bar, jazz club.
Okay. Chosen by Eric, which is a great selection, and we saw a really nice show. And I had my first drink. Eric bought it for me, and Colton came with us. And yeah, it was really just a fun, just good people. Like, you know, sometimes I feel like for birthdays, like I used to put a lot of pressure on it, and like when it wouldn't turn out the way I wanted it to, it'd be sad. But like, I don't know, I feel like whatever you do, as long as you're with your people, it doesn't really matter, because it's just fun and nice being with the people that you love. So yeah, that was a good day. And then next day I had to hit the books. So yeah.
And it paid off.
Yeah, I literally, for the week leading up to my check ride, I probably was studying so much. Literally, the whole time I was at my computer or reading the P-hack or reading something or typing something or writing something, just the whole time. It was a pretty stressful week, but yeah, check ride was I don't know. I couldn't really tell if it was easy or not. And I don't know how well I did. Like, I never really got an explanation from him. But he was a super nice guy, and he just made me feel really, like, just calm and, like, easygoing guy. And basically, you know, CFI check ride is a lot of teaching, but I only really taught, like, 2 subjects. And then he'd obviously ask me, like, how would you tell this to a student, or how would you tell or teach this to a student? And it would be like a 2-sentence explanation or something. And it basically was just a discussion the whole time, about a 5.5-hour oral. And then, yeah, flew for 1.7. I was so glad and lucky I didn't have to do power off 180, which is like my kryptonite. So didn't do power off 180, and yeah, only did a few maneuvers. And I definitely probably should have failed, but
you say that you can't.
Well, I was out of standards, but like he gave me a few chances. He gave me chances to explain myself. You know, he gave me chances to like teach out of it, and yeah. So I mean,
and I think like being within standards on this is like, this is the check ride where they're gonna be the most lenient, because CFI suck at flying.
Yeah.
After a while, so if the CFI is almost always gonna be out of standards. But as long as they can explain how to fix it and what's happening while they do it, then that shows that they're going to be a good CFI.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, controversially, there almost shouldn't even be a flight portion of a CFI check ride.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is learn how to fly from the right seat. Like, that could be like an endorsement. Like, you could have a CFI say, I endorse the student to be able to teach from the right seat.
Yeah.
And the check ride is just oral.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like the flight is almost arbitrary.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a very long week and a very long day. It was probably like 8 hours total of oral and flight. Yeah. And I think I got really lucky because I got 5 a.m. start. So, and he had another CFI initial check ride after me. So he was kind of in a rush. So I feel like if it was like we started at 10 a.m. and we had the whole day, it would probably been like a 7-hour oral or something and like a 2-hour flight. But didn't end up being that way. Got pretty lucky too. I was really worried about the smoke. It was a little smoky, so I was like, I probably can't do Lazy Eights or Chandel's. Not really any good outside references. But we didn't have to do Lazy Eights because probably he decided that it probably wasn't the best idea with the smoke. And then we didn't have time, so we didn't do the Power Off 180. So I got pretty lucky there. And obviously he was a super nice guy, so I feel like I got lucky there too.
What ground reference maneuvers did you do?
8s on pylons and turns around a point.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because my rectangular course is so garbage.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why I struggle with it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, rectangular courses, I've probably only done that like 4 times in my whole life.
Yeah,
so.
I've done it 3 times.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I would probably pass, but it's not pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say most of my maneuvers weren't that pretty besides... Yeah, I don't think any of my maneuvers were that pretty for the flight. But, I mean, I was within standards for 90% of them. So, yeah.
Was it steep turns that you busted?
Yeah, steep turns I busted airspeed.
Airspeed, not altitude.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Altitude was, like, almost perfect, but airspeed was...
When's the yellow?
No. It was too slow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, check ride done. Got double I stuff. Hopefully I'll get Buddy Colton to be the double I. And then, yeah. So.
Oh, also, I learned that why my vision's bad.
Why?
She was saying it has nothing to do with sleep, the optometrist.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, real quick. I had medical this morning, and my vision didn't pass, so I had to go to an optometrist to say that, like, I got it corrected in 2020, and now I just have to give the note to the AME. Caught up. Chew. And I had 2020 before. Like, my last medical was 2020, so I didn't really think it was going to be a problem, but it turned out it was. She said that doing a lot of close-up studying makes you nearsighted.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, it's really important to do, like, after 20 minutes, like, take a break and, like, kind of focus on something that's far away.
Oh, so that is real. I thought it was kind of a myth.
I thought it was like a wives' tale. But it's not just take a 20-minute break. It's take 20 minutes take 20 minutes and spend some time, like, focusing on something far away.
Okay.
Because you're obviously studying close up, so you want to balance that out by looking at something far away.
Okay, so I should, like, tape something on my wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, the test, the letters.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, you're basically, like, training your eyes to be nearsighted.
Gotcha.
And I was like, yeah, this past year I've done more studying than I've done ever.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, it makes sense.
Huh.
Yeah, so something for you. Something for the viewer, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Learn something new.
Well, I am also having issues with my eyes, far side, so I have to go through that same process probably. But as long as we have the first class, and we should be good. So, yeah.
Flying with glasses. That's so lame.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a change.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You want to talk about, like, our transition to the right seat? I feel like it was kind of a fun topic.
Yeah. Yeah, you go first, I'll think.
Okay. My transition was pretty interesting. I would say what I hear mostly from other people who transition to the right seat is that they have issue maintaining center line. That's like their biggest issue. They have that right hand, they're going down with it, so they like are moving right with the aileron, right? I said right a lot there.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I kind of heard, and for me, it wasn't that. It was like centerline wasn't the issue. It was more like the high performance maneuvers, or not high performance. Performance maneuvers. Lazy 8 chandelles. Those were really my issue. I don't know why. It was just it's just really different. I do remember, though, like my first flight, I had no feeling of how the airplane should feel on like the flaring timing and everything like that. I just fucking slammed that shit. But yeah, I mean, it was very gradual. I feel like I got better gradually, and probably at about 15-ish hours, I probably felt good enough to like be like, okay, I'm like proficient in flying from the right seat. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say similar. Centerline was never an issue. Like after like obviously like the first like 2 or 3 landings, it's gonna be weird. But after that, like centerline wasn't the problem. Flare timing. Well, so flare timing also, because I had to relearn how to land completely, because for my private and commercial training, like I kind of, like I guess Desi calls it coming in like a helicopter. I guess that's probably a common phrase. Like coming in like really flat and then just kind of lifting that nose wheel up at the very last second right before touchdown. And I'd butter it every time, like grease, no problem. And so I never really had an issue with that. But my instructor for CFI, she just has her own preference on landings, which is fine. And so I kind of had to relearn how to do it the way that she prefers. I don't have any negative feelings or any positive feelings. It just kind of is what it is. It is kind of cool to be able to learn different styles. And so her kind of thing is to come down with a more nose down attitude and then flare higher, hold the flare, and then just kind of let it come in. So that's kind of an interesting. It's made soft field landings a lot easier, because obviously my natural way to do it, if I do that the same way for soft field, I'd never be able to keep the nose up. But coming in kind of more of that nose down and then keeping the flare in, I can do soft field landings a lot better. But for regular landings, it's just different. I wouldn't say one's better than the other, because I can butter both of them now the same way. But it's just definitely different. So it's kind of an interesting experience, and definitely in that flare for a lot longer, which feels kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the main thing, was having to do that and then also landing from the right seat. It just feels very different. So it took a while to kind of get my landings done, but I'd say there was like one flight where just all of a sudden it clicked and my landings were fine. And then ever since then, I haven't had issues. Like power offs are fine, barring weird weather and feeling weird crosswinds and stuff. And soft fields are like the best soft fields I've had ever. Short fields, I'm still kind of I mean, the touchdown is fine. It's just, getting that feeling of what the weather's doing that day and the winds and everything. But yeah, landings are fine. Overall, I'd say the thing that I always forget to do is add back pressure when I turn right, just in anything. Steep turn, regular turn, traffic pattern. Like whenever I'm turning right, I always let the nose come down. So I always need to make sure to add the back pressure, because for some reason from the right side and you're turning right, the nose just seems like it's like in a crazy high attitude when you're turning right, but it's actually normal. So that was the biggest adjustment. But other than that, honestly, like it's not really, after about 10 or 15 hours, I would say right seat just kind of feels normal. I'd be nervous to fly in the left seat now.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that too.
But I think after like one flight, it just will come back.
Yeah.
But then I feel like then I'd be nervous going back to the right seat. Like I feel like I can only have skills in one seat at a time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in trying to fly the 172 from the right seat as well.
Yeah. I haven't even thought about that.
I thought about that recently because my dad was talking about coming up to visit at some point, and he's heavy, so it'd be way easier. We could take the 152, but it'd be easier to take the 172.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap, I don't know if I could fly that thing anymore, because I definitely wouldn't be proficient from the left seat.
Yeah.
But I would feel weird flying from the right seat.
Yeah.
So I was like, I definitely want to go solo in that thing before I have any passengers, just to feel the right seat.
Yeah. Yeah. What about performance maneuvers, though? How do you feel
the same struggles I've had from commercial, like just, I don't feel like it was any harder or any easier.
Okay.
It was kind of like lazy eights are always hard, like no matter what.
Yeah. And
so I feel like they're the equal level of difficult than they've always been.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, right seat flying. It's a fun transition.
Yeah. You feel cool when you're getting in the plane, you're going on the right side.
Yeah.
Like, kind of better than everybody else. All the little student pilots are getting on the left seat. You're like, I've been here for a while. I'm getting here on this side.
Yeah, it's fun. Definitely like just a fun challenge. I feel like
It's
just a challenge, but like you're gonna get it, and it's just fun. So
and it's exciting having something new. Like it was really exciting after your instrument training, like going into the Seminole because it's something brand new, and exciting after your private training to go into the 172 because that's new, and it kind of helps with the motivation, helps with the burnout because it's like, okay, I'm not just doing the same thing over and over again. I'm getting to get a new experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And then having more like bravery, I guess, like more courage to try new things because you do have a lot more experience. Like doing landings at night with no landing light, that's pretty fun. Doing an impossible turn, pretty cool. And going up and doing stalls and giving controls to my cousin who's never flown before. Like that's something I would never have done as a private, maybe not even as a commercial pilot. But now that I have CFI training, I feel just a lot more confident in the plane and knowing exactly what it's going to do and how to handle every situation. Yeah. And then the spin training, of course, like now getting into a spin, I know is not really a big deal.
Yeah, let's talk about our spins.
Yeah, spins was fun. I want to go up and just do it every day. Like that was the most fun thing to me. We go up, it was bright and early in the morning, so super stable atmosphere. We just are doing climbing turns over banks to get up to 7,500 feet. And get up to altitude, and my instructor just has me lay off, like not touch any controls for the first one. And literally, like, I think I made a noise or something because we go, as soon as she goes full left rudder, full back pressure, I'm just like, oh, shit. And then so we go down, we start spinning, count 1, 2, 3, and then recover. But then the next one, it was a factor of two things that made it a lot easier was, after the first one, I almost had to say I wanted to go back down because I was feeling really nauseous. I was like, I think I'm going to puke. I don't know if it was nerves or motion sickness or feeling the G's after the recovery or maybe a mix of all three, but I thought I might puke. I was like, no, screw this. Like, we're up. It took forever to climb to 7,500 feet. It's like, I don't want to have to do that again. So let's do it. So we did it, and I had controls this time. And a mix of two things is I knew what to expect. And the other thing is I think even just the simple act of holding the yoke kind of helps brace you in your seat so you're not getting thrown around as much. And that makes it a lot less scary. And you're like less jiggly. And that was fun. Just, you go up, you hear the stall, and instead of going full power and covering, you do the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And full back pressure, full rudder. You go almost inverted, basically, and go down, just start spinning, count them 1, 2, 3. And then as you do it, like I did a total of 4 times, and by the third time, I'm actually able to like be present in the spin, and I'm not just experiencing it, but I'm actually in control of it. And okay, I can count 1 turn, 2 turns. I can actually think and even look at the airspeed, and instead of just like, oh my gosh, what's going on, like you experienced the first couple times. And then by the third time, we even did 4 rotations going down, which was fun. So you're just kind of experiencing what's happening, and you're feeling the plane and understanding what's going on, and you're looking at your attitude indicator go all crazy until it just stops because it's completely broken, and you just go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then full right rudder, recover from that spin, and just slowly pull that the yoke back and recover. It was a blast. I wish I could do that more.
I had a dramatically different experience. I wouldn't say dramatically, but I felt my first one, I did, I think 3 total spins. Maybe I did 4. I think 1 wasn't like a full spin, but basically I didn't have it where the instructor demonstrated. I just did it.
Oh wow.
And so I just kind of thrown into it. I was like, wow, this is a lot more extreme than I thought, and I got really dizzy and nauseous. And so like, instinct is like when you're in the spin, you kind of want to like just like roll neutral with your ailerons and pull back. So my instinct was not to keep the spin going, but to kind of pull back, and that made the spin even worse. That was like stalling the wing like more. So I was just like, just going around, and I just felt like garbage. And so I would make the spin worse, and then I just almost passed out. So I almost passed out twice, and I'm pretty sure my instructor also almost passed out once, which is pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, I got through it, and I felt like absolute garbage. I got on the ground, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm on the ground. But, yeah, We can throw those. Did you record yours?
Yeah. Oh, my spin?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll throw mine up there if I
you meant the audio. I was like,
I end up in the video.
Yeah.
And people can see what that's all about. But I mean, looking back at it, it was still pretty fun. But in the moment, I was like, I just want to be in bed right now. I just want to lie down and close my eyes. Maybe get some water, on my face or something. But yeah.
How many rotations did you do on the way down?
We always did 3.
3.
Yeah. So, yeah. I remember I was like, because there's the entry, and I'd be like, this isn't a spin? You have to do 3 more? I'd be like, what? We have to do 3 more? I was like, whoa.
And then you watch the sight picture, and it gets tighter.
Yeah.
So it starts like, woo, and then it's like, woo, and then it's like, woo.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'll throw those videos up there, and people can see them.
Yeah.
See,
I was just, Desi was making me scared about getting into a flat spin, because she warned me about that like a million times. She's like, if we don't enter it right, we go into a flat spin. That's like really bad, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was what I was worried about. But other than that, I wasn't really.
But it's a very forward CG airplane, so.
Yeah.
I mean.
Did you do it in X-ray?
No, we did a 64942.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the red one.
Yeah.
Big red. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're kind of caught up here.
Yeah.
We want to talk about our future, maybe.
That's my future. I burp. Future. Yeah, so, I mean, we both have kind of things on the horizon. I kind of have 3 options right now, not on the horizon, on the QX. Obviously, it's kind of like the same idea as like when you're finishing up your senior year of college. It's time to like, okay, figure out what you're going to do after. And so it's like that. Obviously, we don't know that feeling because we didn't do it.
No.
But I imagine that's what it's like. I imagine all of my collegiates out there, I imagine that's what this feeling is of you're finishing up school.
And you know what's great? I feel like we're doing it earlier than them.
Yeah.
Because most of them are going in their senior and junior year now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all my friends are the first last day posts.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing those? Or last first day.
Yes.
Yeah, last first day. All right, cool. Yeah, whatever. And so, yeah, we're pretty much just finishing up our college experience. And, it's time to start focusing on, like, what you're going to do after. Okay, you've got your licenses, you got your ratings. How are you going to use them? And so my kind of 3 options right now are to either stay at Hillsborough, where I know I have a guaranteed job for the most part, and, find a place to start paying rent. And then option 2, which I'm kind of equal. This is kind of equal to option 1 as far as like preference wise is there's a flight academy 20 minutes from my house in California that I could apply to and hopefully get a job there, and then 0 rent because I could just stay at home. But, obviously staying at home is not always the best for mental health reasons. And then option 3 is I was talking to my friend, 2 friends in Alaska, one of which Lucas, who has been featured on this podcast. Shout out to Lukey Pookie.
Wait, why did I do this?
I did it too because you did it.
Wait, I feel like there's something better for. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like if we're talking to Lucas, it's like
shout out. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, so he mentioned like some three different flight schools that are super cool up there that I think he has some friends that instruct at some of them or all of them or something. I got to talk to him more about it. But he said that they're really good schools and they're looking for instructors. And I talked to my other friend in Alaska who offered me a room for $750 a month, which is pretty reasonable. Obviously, that'd be so much fun to fly in Alaska, and those hours are really valuable on resumes for future jobs in Alaska. But I don't know. That's the most risky one because, like, I know here, like, to supplement income for rent, I know I can do Uber, like, make a bunch of money that way. Obviously, it's not going to be the same opportunity in Alaska, maybe get 1 job a day. So all of my income will be coming from the flight school. So I want to go up there and visit the schools and kind of get an idea of exactly, like, how many hours, they're really flying in the wintertime and see to make sure I can actually, make my bills. But yeah, those are my 3 options. And then after, I want to get my 500 hours of dual given and then start applying to 135 gigs and fly something cooler than a 152.
So for me, yeah, I assume I definitely have not told anybody on the podcast about what's going on here. But basically, my dad's a friendly guy. And so my dad became friends with this guy who's a chief instructor at a fractional company in Nevada. And so basically, I really don't want to, like, say that I have a job, but, like, more or less I have a job. And so it would be for a fractional company, so I'd be flying, PC-12 and maybe hopefully PC-24. But so that's the goal right now, and 800 is the minimum hour requirement. So 800 is what I'm looking at. Obviously, staying here is an option, and then I have also kind of a job in Hawaii, in Honolulu. And so I'm not really super keen about the job in Honolulu, and there's 2 flight schools in Honolulu. One I would be more keen about, but I haven't gotten a job offer there. The other one is more of a job offer. And then obviously, like, uprooting everything here and kind of getting out of my comfort zone and being away from, Sarah and Eric, and being away from the mainland is kind of, I don't know, it's a lot. And, I probably, it's like I need to get out of my comfort zone, so I probably should do it. But my plan right now is to get my double I here, and I want to get my MEI. So I'm going to stay here until I finish those things. And then hopefully, Hawaii's still an option, or I might like this place a lot, and I'm getting a lot of hours and I have a lot of students. So I just stay here until my 800, and boom, I'm in, Nevada in May, April, something. That'd be great. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on here for me. So yeah, for now, probably staying here, and then we're kind of just playing it by ear and going with the flow, seeing how I feel, seeing how things turn out. And yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of aviation. It's just you get somewhere and you just figure it out from there.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have no 135 jobs. We got to instruct. We got to do our time like everybody else besides Lucas. So, yeah, that's our future for now. But
who knows? That could change.
Yeah. There could be a big volcano, and, the whole airspace could shut down, and we would have to go to college.
Or they recruit us to evacuate people from the volcano zone as pilots.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
As helicopter pilots, so we got to get a rotor wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what endorsements we would need.
Huh?
You know what endorsements we would need.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what endorsements. So, yeah. It's kind of us.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Over?
I think so. About right in an hour, too.
That's crazy. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. To nobody. Somebody.
Thanks to us for watching in the future.
Yeah, thanks for us. Thanks to us. Taking great time out of your day to listen to us talk about
yourself.
Your past.
From the past?
Yeah. You're talking about your past from the past. Oh, we talked about the future, too.
Hope maybe the present.
Oh. Today we're going to go get Buffalo Wild Wings with Colty boy. And Tristan's a little bitch, so he's not coming.
Yeah. I feel like Colton would be a good addition to the podcast, and he could just be like laying this way.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Colton is going to be his CFI.
Hopefully that'll be cool. So, yeah, that's it.
The end.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
So long.
So long.
So long. Have a good one. Cheers.